Hello, I'm Simon. Welcome back to the workshop. Now, if you're a regular viewer, you'll know that I recently installed a cheap router lift in my router table. It replaced this router holder that I was using, which is a bit janky and is cheap as well. It's certainly an improvement from this, but it does have its problems. And in my previous video, you'll know that one of those problems was that sometimes it gets stuck and you have to push it down with your finger to make sure it's at the right height. I did try installing some springs that I had hanging around, but they weren't really strong enough. So in this video, I'm going to make my own custom springs and add them to the router lift to see if that fixes the problem. Let's get tinkering. Now I need to start with a donor spring, and this one literally jumped out at me. Now at the moment it's the wrong size, it's the right gauge wire, but everything else about it is wrong. This is a expansion spring and I want a compression spring, and I need the diameter of the spring to be a little bit bigger. So let's see if we can fix those problems. I select a screwdriver that just fits up the inside of the spring. I insert the screwdriver and then use it and some brute force to unwind the spring. Now this may look a little bit of a mess, but it's actually exactly what we need now to make our new spring. Now I'm going to need a metal rod that's got a diameter a little bit smaller than the spring that I want to make, and I found this in the corner, which will be ideal. I need to drill a couple of holes, so I use the anvil on the back of the vise to centre punch where I want the holes to go. I'm going to start each hole off with this centering bit using my pillar drill. I then change to a 2mm high-speed steel bit to go through the rest. I clean up the burr, then decide that the whole thing could do with a bit of a clean, so use the wire brush to clean the rust off of the whole rod. So what I have left is a bar with a small hole in one end and a larger hole in the other, and we'll use this to form our new spring. I've made some softwood jaws for the vise, and I'm now going to just tighten the vise to create some indents in the softwood that the bar will follow. So I've loosened the jaws just a touch, and you can see I can now move this bar, but it doesn't have a great deal of play. I've threaded the spring wire through the small hole, making sure that it doesn't stick all the way through, and now I'm going to turn the bar by putting a screwdriver through the large hole. So you can see how this works. I just need to make sure that the jaws don't move. I may not have had them clamped up enough. You can see it's producing quite a nice spring. Before I go any further, I'm just going to see if this size spring is the right size for our project. The best way I've found to convert it to a compression spring from an expansion spring is to put it through wider and wider shafts. I've set the length of the bar in the vise to 2.5 inches. That's going to be the length of my springs. So I'm just going to use that as a guide for getting the right length. So I remove the router plate and then remove the lift from the plate. So let's now see how well it works. Well, I've not made springs like that for about 30 years. And it was easier than I remember and turned out better than I remember it turning out in the past. So I'm really pleased with that. These stronger springs are now the correct length, and being the correct length and stronger means that this is always bedded down and I no longer need to push it, and indeed I can't push it down now. So this now means that the router lift is working better than it was straight from the manufacturer. If you like mods to tools or want to learn more about my router table and all the jigs and accessories I've made for it, then have a look at the videos over there. In the meantime, if you haven't subscribed, please do. And if you like this video, then please leave a thumbs up. If you've got any comments or questions, then post them below. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.